Hey guys, you highly welcome back to Heminess Stitches channel. My name is Bukola. Thank you guys for being there for me. Thank you for supporting us. Please, if you are watching this channel for the first time, you haven't subscribed, please do so. It actually costs nothing to do that. Thank you very much. Today, I want to be showing us how I make this beautiful dress. I have 4 yards of African print and I will be cutting 2.5 yards out of it for the down part of my dress, because the down part does not have any particular measurements. It depends on the waist you are working with. So what I am doing now, I minus the half length of my dress from the length of my dress. Then I mark down the length with sewing allowance included. Then I will be marking it across and cut it out. Cut it out. Okay, now that I am done cutting it out, I have my fabric in 2 places now. So I'll be cutting it into 2 from this unfold part. When I'm done cutting it, they will mark the wrong side of my fabric to avoid unnecessary mistake. So after done with that, now I'll be folding it together and notch the middle of my fabric. When I'm done marking it that way, notching the middle. When I'm done notching the middle, then I will come to this edge. I will come to this edge, then I will be marking inward 1 inch. Then after that 1 inch, I will also mark 7 inches. That 7 inches is going to be for our pocket entrance, because we are having pockets at the both side of our dress. You notch it inside that way. And after done with that, you put this aside to cut the upper part.
So this is the part that we cut out of our fabric. This is the part that remain. So now what I'll be doing, I'll just fold this one into 4. Fold it into 4 like this.
And cut out my half length plus sewing allowance and with my guideline allowance. So
Sewing allowance. So with my sewing allowance here, and then I have 16 inches in here. So here I'll just draw a guideline here. So this is the guideline. So on this guideline, I'll be marking my shoulder to shoulder measurements here. That is 15 divided by 2. So after done with that, all the measurements that I need for this place, including sewing allowance to sew the side, I need 4.5 inches, because you have to mark, you have to measure the wideness of the person's front. I mean the chest wideness, or nipple to nipple plus 1 inch. So our own nipple to nipple plus 1 inch gave me 9 inches. So that is the reason I am marking 4.5 inches. So with that 4.5 inches now, I'll be adding sewing allowance to this to join my pieces together. So I'll just make use of that this way. This way, you understand? So here now, I'll be marking our neck width. I'll be using 3 inches for the neck width for the front and the back. So for the neck depth, I'll be using 4 inches for the front, 4 inches this way for the front, then I'll be marking 2 inches for the back. Don't forget that the front and the back are folded together. We folded the front and the back together. So after done with that, now we have added our sewing allowance with this. So the next thing we do now is to cut our fabric. I'll be cutting the neck before separating the two. So the next thing, I forgot to mark my shoulder slope. We need to mark our shoulder slope. It's very, very important. So this way, 1 inch, like this. This is half of an inch. Then you connect it slantly to this side. You slant your hand like this. This way. Then you cut it out. The reason why I'm doing that is one of the methods to eliminate bulge at the back of our fabric. So I will notch it back. So that is the back. So we are done with this. Our back pieces is ready now. I'll put this aside. Let's put it this way. So for the front, don't forget we haven't cut the neck for the front. This is it. So the next thing I'll be doing, I'll go ahead and cut the neck. So I'm done cutting this now. So I'm done with it. So the next thing I'll be doing, I'll just go ahead and cut my band. So this is the remaining fabric here. So I folded this into 2. What I'll be doing, I'll fold it again this way. What I folded here is up to 4 inches. So I folded 4 inches. I'll just cut it out in order to enable me to cut my So after cutting out the length that we need, the length needed for our band, I told us I'm going to cut my band in pieces. This is for the front, and I have 8 inches wide here. So I'll be using the same thing for the back as well. So after divided our waist by 2, then I added 2 inches for the sewing allowance to join it side by side. So I'll be folding it this way. Let's fold it this way. So after done folding it this way, this is the middle now. The middle is unfold. So what I'll be doing now, I'll just go ahead and mark how to shape my darts. I told us I'm cutting front first. Then I'll be using 3/4 inches to stitch both down and the upper side of my dart. So what I'll be doing now, if you like, you can add 1 inch to your 2 inches, because I'm using 2 inches. So I'll just be marking this like this. I'll be marking this one like this. I'll be marking half of an inch this way. Then also mark my 2 inches this way. 2 inches plus another sewing allowance this way. Or let's mark 1/3 this way. Then my 2 inches. That 2 inches is very, very important. 2 inches this way. Then I'll be adding my sewing allowance. We needed sewing allowance. We need to add our sewing. I've added my sewing allowance. The next thing now, because of the shape of our fronts, I'll be placing my cuff ruler this way. Just place it this way. You understand? Then you have to cuff it this way. So the easiest way, just place back your tape measure. This cuff is not so, it's not okay. So after done with this now, measure what you get here. These are actual measurements. So I have 2 3/4 here, 2.5 3. Instead of 3 inches, I remove 1/4 of an inch there. So you just have to, whatever you have here, you mark it back here. You see, you mark it back like that. So when you're done marking it, the next thing you do now, you place back your ruler. I'll be placing back my cuff ruler this way. Then I'll make sure that I connect these 3 points together. So this way. That's the easiest way to cut your band. Mere looking at the shape, you can see the shape of our waist is already obvious on this fabric. So the next thing, I'll just go ahead and cut it out. Don't forget that I said you can also use half of an inch for the upper and the down side of your fabric. You can use 3/4 of an inch to stitch it. It's still the same thing. So as long as you are stitching in all added allowances. So this is for the front. On top, see the shape. See this, you can see the shape already. Then I will be cutting it out, but I won't be cutting it with this shape. Yes, I won't be cutting it with this shape. I'll just place my straight ruler like this. Give us the front band alone. So to cut the back now, let me take one out of this. This I'll just place it. Then also you cut the down part straight. This fabric is already folded. You have to place it this way, the way it is. This is. So I'll be notching this part. That is 1.5 inches I added for the hook and line napping. So this is going to be the band for the back. So this is going to be the center back. This lace that I'm notching is going to be our center back. So now our back band is ready. So this will be the front this way. This will be the front like this. So when we stitch this one with our 1 inch sewing allowance, then we stitch this one this way. You understand? So the one that will be coming from the back that will lap on this one. So always good when it is under it this way. You understand? Is this one that I had it. Oh, I'm clear. This one that I had it is going to be under, or you can also do it this way. You understand? Depends how you want it. So the next thing I'll be doing, I'll just go ahead and cut our gum stay and iron it on this before bringing it back to us. Then we get on machine same pockets. So my fabric is folded into 4. See. So what I'll be doing, I'll just place my palm this way on it. I'll place it this way. Then I'll just trace it this way. I will be tracing it this way. So you see the way I trace it out. So the next thing, you cut it out. So guys, after done cutting it this way, the next thing to do now, I'll be slanting this. Don't forget I've marked 7 inches on my fabric, so I must have either 7.5 or 7 inches here. You just cut it this way. You understand? Then you cut it out. So this is going to be the upper side. You understand? It's going to be like this at the side of your skirt. This is going to be the upper side, while this place is also upper side. Then they will face, it's going to face each other this way. So let's get on machine and start our sew.
So now we are on machine. To start stitching our dress, the first thing I will be doing, I will be stitching my pockets. So I will start by leaving half of an inch, then I will sew around and stop before half of an inch to end it. So
So I'm done stitching my 2 pockets, as you can see. I'm done stitching. So I'll put this aside. Let's put it aside and start sewing the upper side. Then I will take this, it's two pieces, so I will match it together this way. This is 1 pieces of back, 1 pieces of the front. Then what I am doing is that the right side will face the right side, will face the right side. So the next thing I'll be sewing this way. Now I'm done stitching the 4 pieces together. I have stitched this one. This is 1 front and 1 back, and also 1 front and 1 back. We are going to use the lining to line our fabric. We are using our fabric to line our dress. So now let's say this one is lining and this one is main fabric. When I done stitching it, I now discover that the neck is too small. I will just place it on each other. Make sure that they both are lined together this way. Make sure the both lining and your fabric are lined together this way. Then I'll be cutting from the back. I won't cut anything at the front. The front neck is okay. So I'll be cutting here now. I'll just cut out half of an inch of 3/4 this way. So now I'll test it on my head and see how it is, because there's no button at the back and there's no zipper. So it's okay. So after done with that, I will iron it before stitching it together. I have to open this place. Now that I've done ironing it and iron it done with the ironing, you can see I've opened my seam flats. So the next thing to do now, I'll just sew the neck round. Your shoulder must align with each other. Your shoulder must align with each other. It's very, very important. Just stitching the neck. The next thing now, I'll be notching around the neck, then I'll turn it inside. So after done with that, then I will go ahead and iron it properly. When I'm done ironing it, the next thing I will be showing us is our dress. Then as good as it is now, you can use either of the front. You can use any side for your front or for the back, as you see. So after done with this now, we'll get on table and show us how to stitch the side. Now we are on the table to stitch the side. You see how I'm opening one side, so I'll be pushing the other side inside it. Then I will use that side that I first open to wrap the side that I didn't open. You see the way I wrap it inside? Just put it inside that way. Then you start stitching from the bottom place that I touched. Then you stitch it all through to the other end. Yes, from that bottom to the other end. Then I'll go ahead and stitch it this way. Then I'll bring it back. Now as you can see, I'm done stitching that place I touched. Then I'll be opening this side again. That place that I have stitched, I will now push it inside. You see the way I'm pushing it this way. Then I'll put that one inside. Also use that one to wrap it. Then make sure your shoulder lines align, your shoulder seam align with each other. Then I will go ahead and stitch this one as well. Then I will start stitching from the other end to this end. So now that I am done doing that, the upper side, I'm done ironing it. See, look at the back. You can see the effect of the ½ inch that we cut there. It's also obvious now. It's obvious now, as you can see. So the next thing to do now, I will top stitch it around at the both side. I will top stitch this side, then also top stitch. So the upper side now is ready. This upper side. So one more step before stitching the skirt parts. The next step now is to sew our band with this upper side. To sew band with this upper side, want to sew band with this. So don't forget we have notch on our fabric already, on our upper parts. This is the notch. Let me use some chalk to mark the place. This is the notch. That is the notch. So now I'll make sure that the notch on my band, the curvy area of the band, is the upper side, like this. So that upper side has to face this down side of our upper parts, just this way. As you can see the shape. See how it's very aligned with each other. So I'll just turn it this way. You turn it this way, like that. So after done with this, the next thing now, this other side, this is the upper side. Then you have to close the down parts. I'll be closing the down part with half of an inch. Don't forget we added sewing allowance to our band, and the band we need, the height of our band is 2 inches. So make sure you sew in all your sewing allowance so it won't be too much. So I'll quickly run a stitch on this one. I will run a stitch. So I'll not take one of the back band, then also run a stitch on it. So this is the front part now. This front now, I will place it this way. You understand? Then I will stitch it together. It's because I will be stitching it together. I will be stitching it together. You place it this way. You make sure that the 3 pieces notches are lined together. You see? Then I will just use a pin to secure the 3 pieces together to make it easy. So my upper, this blouse will be these are 1 inch now. Then I will start, these are 1 inch, so I'll start stitching from that place, and I will be stitching with 0. Start stitching. I will leave 1 inch 5. I'll be stitching with 0.5. If you are stitching your bone together this way, make sure you hold it firmly. The same thing applicable to the back side. This one. The one that I didn't fold the down part will be at the upper side, like this. And this one too will be at the, it will be under it. It will be under it this way. So the 3 pieces are together this way. So the next thing to do now is to start stitching an inch after the end. You leave 1 inch before start your stitching. Then I will be stopping an inch before the end here. I'll be stopping stitching. So after done with this, you can notch it like that, especially at this middle. This back is very important to notch it so it will lay flat. So I'll go ahead and iron this now. So the next thing, I will start stitching the down parts. So now this is the down part of our dress. Then this is the right side, faces each other this way. So this side I have marked. There is a notch there already. When we're cutting, I notched this side. I even notched the both both edges. So what we are going to do now is that, as it is now, you know, we left 1 inch ahead like this. So I'll be stitching from this down part. I'll be stitching my pockets with the main fabric. We left half of an inch at the both edges of our pockets, and this is the upper side. You can see the notch. Just place it this way. Easiest way to do that. You see the way it is. So it's even more than the 7 inches that we. So I'm done stitching this side. So the next thing now, I'll be stitching my pocket with the fabric under this way. There's notch there too. Just place it together and match it again with the notch under. There's another notch below. This notch below is for the 7 inches for our pocket entrance. So as you can see, I'm done. So to stitch it down, you have to stitch this your 1 inch. You start from the band. You see the way I place my fabric. So from here now, we are going to measure. You measure 7 inches. That is our pocket entrance. You measure 7 inches. So I'll be starting stitching from this 7 inches now. So I'll just do it like this. Then you start stitching our 1 inch from this side. Then you run the stitch downward. So this is where we leave for our pocket entrance. This is the space here. So what I'll be doing, I'll just put my hand this way, as you can see. So the reason why I bring my fabric on the table now, it's because this side, this other side that we are going to fix our zip, it needs more detailed explanation, because I can see on that machine it's not clear enough. So what I'll be doing now, I'll be taking my chalk to indicate the place that we marked for our 1 inch. This is it. This is it here. Then we mark 7 inches downwards. We marked 7 inches downwards this way. This is it. That is the entrance of our pocket. So to do that, this is it. We are going to stitch zipper and the pocket on this same spot. The other one that we did, this one is very easy. You just open your pocket, then you open your fabric, then you stitch it one by one to the side. It's okay. That is very simple. Then you stitch straight down. But for this one, it's a bit complex, more than this. So let's get into it. This is our pocket here. So I'll be using office pin to secure our work, so we'll understand the detail. So as it is now, the first thing you do, you see, 1, 2, the right side of your pocket will face the right side of your fabric. Just place it together this way. Place it together. Then secure it with office pin. You secure it this way. Then also secure it this way. So as you can see, it's as if I've stitched this now. Let's turn it inward this way. So for this side now, I don't want to do anything off camera. I want us to see this place very well. This is very, very important. As you see, this place the way it is now. So you are going to sew this one with your fabric. You are going to sew the first one that we pin like this. When you don't stitching it, so you now place your zipper. You will stitch your zipper with one side of your skirt this way. You see the way I place it. You stitch it. Then you stitch the other side with the other side of your pocket. You know, we have pinned this one down. I have to turn it this way so we can see. My hand won't be, so I won't be using my hand to block the camera. So like this. So just measure the length you are using for your zipper. So after done pinning and securing this with office pin, so the next thing now, you measure the length of your zipper. I'll be using 9.5 inches. The reason why I am marking up to this, it's because I want it to be easy for my clients to be able to wear a dress. You see, so that is the place I marked. You can also notch it, but I've marked this with chalk. So now, to stitch our zipper, you have to place it this way. Let me open it. This is my zipper. So one side of my zipper will be like this. So we'll start from the upper side this way. You see, I don't want my hand to block the camera. That is the reason I'm trying to be careful. On that 1 inch sewing allowance that you have added. So I'm using invisible zip. I'm using invisible zip. So after done with this now, the next thing I'll be doing, this is the other side. You start pinning this other side this way, as you can see. This is the only way we can get details, explanation on this. So when you get to your pocket area, this is our pocket area, you have to do it this way. You see, my zipper and my pockets, one side of my pocket are together. So you have to pin it this way. I can do it without pinning it, but I want it to be clear because this is the major work on this tutorial. It's the major parts on this tutorial. So now, as we can see, the both zipper and the pocket they are together. The both zipper and the pocket they are together. So what I will be doing, I will just try and zip up my zipper, then show us the inside, the outside part of this. Let's see it. before we go and stitch it down. So guys, as you can see, this side is the side we are stitching with only zipper. Then this is the side that contains the zipper and the pockets. As we can see, don't forget we secure it with pins. So this is how it's going to be. In fact, only the pockets that will be showing, because we are using invisible zip, the zipper won't be showing. So what I'll be doing now, if you watch this one carefully and more than one time, you will understand what I mean here. You understand? You will understand what I'm trying to explain. As you can see now, the pocket is there and the zipper is also there. So let's get on machine and finish it up. So as it is now, so I'll be starting from the part that I am not putting zipper. This one, the first part that we first pin down. So I will start this way. So I'm done with that side. So the next thing to stitch now. I'm stitching with 1 inch allowance. So when I get to the place that I marked, I have to back stitch and make sure that I hold it very well. So you can see how I back stitch very well on that side. So I'm just it is just open your zipper so that you'll be able to stitch it very well. So we said we are stitching with 1 inch. So we have to start stitch with that our 1 inch. That is the sewing allowance we added. So we start stitching this way. If you want to do yours, I would love you to use invisible zip. Invisible zip will make your work come out very fine. So after that, I will remove all my pins. Then I will move to this side now. This other side, I will be starting from the bottom part, from the down this way. I will be starting this way.
So here I have to stop my stitch and back stitch very well. You can see I'm trying to hold my pocket and my zipper together. Then you place it on your machine this way. You see the way I push in my pocket. Then you place it that way. You remove all your pins. So to enable you to stitch it very well, then you back stitch that place very well. You see the way I'm back stitching it very well. Then you stitch it straight down with your zipper. That is my pocket and my zipper. So after done with that now, our dress is ready. You can see the way I close my zipper. So now you can see the entrance of our pocket. I'm trying to arrange it very well for us to see. So now you can see. Yes, you can see. Very beautiful. Then also, the next thing you be doing now, you can see that place my zipper is not well stitched. I want to restitch it. So you can see our pocket and the zipper are together now.
So the upper side is wet iron. As you can see, it's wet iron. What I'll be doing now, I'll be removing some out of this. I'll be cutting off some part of this seam. I'll be cutting it off because I don't want it to be hot. It will be too bulky. So we have to reduce it. But make sure you don't cut your seam. So the next thing I have done cutting out the seam. I have cutting the seam. So it remains small. That one is okay. Then the next thing I want to quickly show us our pockets. I have ironed this part, you see, it's well ironed. You can see it's well ironed. So you see the other side as well. This is the side. This is the side that contains zipper and pocket. You can see here is our zipper, then this is our pocket. So this is our upper part. You can see this is the upper part. It's well ironed. Then the next thing now, I have trimmed off the budge area. I will stitch it in the 1 inch that we added for sewing allowance. You understand? So okay guys, I'm done stitching it. Let's see what I have stitched. Let's see it. You could see the way I sew it down. You could see the way I sew it down. I used 1 inch to sew it because we added 1 inch for our sewing allowance. So I just marked that 1 inch. I stitch it down. So I have stitched this side down. So now this is what we get. So hope you can see very well. This is our band now. So the next thing, this is the upper side of our dress. So the next thing to do now, we said our waist is 29 inches. So we have to check what is inside here. The gap between these two sides is supposed to no more than 4 inches. So I have 4 inches here. That 4 inches now, I'll be dividing it into 2 to know whether the measurements or whether the measurements here, the remaining part of this lace and this lace is corresponding with our waist. You understand? Because this is the side we are putting zipper. So what I'll be doing, I'll just place my tape measure this way. From this side I join this. I'll just place it this way. Then mark 2 inches like this. Then from here now, I will start measuring and make sure that I measure my 29 inches. So you see here from this side now, as you can see, hope you can see my shock. So from here now, it's made 1 inch. So from this side now, it's made 2 inches. The reason why this side made 2 inches is because we added, when we're cutting the back band, I added 1 inch. The 1 inch I added is just for the lapping. You understand? I'll show us what I mean by lapping now. So as this one it is now, as it is this way, you understand? This is the front. So if I don't stitching the down part, everything, this one will be this like this. You understand? So this other side, this is what I'm referring to as lapping. As you can see, our notch is even there. This is our notch here. So I will just place this side this way. It will be on top, or this will be on top of it. Anyhow you want it. But professionally, this is how it's supposed to be. But mostly, I can see this is how people used to do it. But whichever way you prefer, no problem. So the next thing to do now, after explaining this, the middle notch of my skirt part, this middle notch here must match with the one here now. So the first thing you do now, this is how it is. This one must match with this. So I'll be using my pin to secure it. It has to match this way. I'm trying to secure it. So I'm done with that. So I'll come to this edge now. I told us that the side with the pockets must be at the left side. Because of the zip, because of our zipper, it must be at the left side. So also use another pin to secure it with the mark here. Don't forget I've marked this place. That is our sewing allowance. So it must be there. So I will now place it this way. So for accuracy purpose, whatever you have here is the one you are using to make your pleating at this, from this lace to this lace now. Whatever the remaining fabric here, whatever you have here is what you are using to make your pleats within this 1/4 of our waist circumference. You understand? That is the meaning of what we just did. So for this other side now, this right side that we close, it's my own right side. So what I'll be doing now, I will just opening the half of an inch that we left here. Then you have to place it on this. Make sure you open your seam. You open your seam this way. Your seam must be open so that it will make it flat. So you just place this way now. Like this again. You open the seam of this lace. Then you place it on it with that half of an inch that we left. Then you secure it with pin also. So the same thing, we are going to turn this one this way. Then we are going to the back side. So on this back side, the first thing you do, you locate the middle, the center of your blouse, which we have notched since we are cutting. So you also place it this way, secure it with your pin. So after done with that, you have to come back to this side that it has our zipper and pocket. Then you also put it together this way. This is our sewing allowance. So you place it this way. Your zipper will be there that way. This way now. Then you also put your needle. Because I don't want the video to be too long, I will have shown us how to do that. I'll just go ahead now and make my gathers and my or pleating. Anyone that you feel like, you can even make it a knife pleating or kissing pleating or gathers, depends on you. So I'm going to create the gathers on the down parts, then I'll bring it back for us to see. So hope, and if there's any question on this tutorial, please kindly let me know at the comment section. I really want to read from you guys. Please drop your comments. I'll answer all your. I will be happy to read from you guys.
So guys, as you see, we are on machine now. Then you can see the chalk I marked for my sewing allowance. Then you start using your fingers to pick your gathers. I am using this type in order not to waste my time. Then you can use ruffle fit if you also have that. Then you continue picking it and push it under your machine field. Then you match it on. So when you get to this edge, you have to flip in your zipper and the sewing allowance there. Then you match your machine on it. You see the way I turn my own inside. It must not pass your sewing allowance because of their waist measurements. Then after done with this, now you have to run a stitch over this gathers again in order to avoid unnecessary skipping or jumping of the machine. Yeah, this is the right side of our fabric. You could see that we used 2 inches for our band. So after done with that, now this upper side that is folded inside, we'll be using it to conceal all the rubbish of our seam inside. That way, you understand. So after done with that, this edge now, I'll be folding it together. Then I'll stitch with a 1/4 inch. Then the other side, I'll be folding my bands together that way. Then also stitch with 1 inch. I'll be stitching with 1 inch at that side. So don't forget, this is going to be the side that is going to lap on the other side. So now the next thing now I will just use this pin to secure this place, and let us see what I am trying to say. As get I've pinned it inside. That is how it's going to be. That is how that side is going to be. Then I'll be using the upper side to conceal all the rubbish of my seam inside. You can see the way it is now. So after done with that, now I'll quickly take it to machine and run stitch over it. Then this down part, I will be folding it this way, 1/2 inch first, then another 1/2, making 1 inch. Then I will hem it round. That is all. Then our dress will be ready. So as you can see, I've stitched that place that I said I will be stitching with 1/4 inch. Then I trim out part of the seam. So the next thing now is to continue using our band to cover our seam. If you like, you can turn it upside down and stitch it anyhow you want it. So I am done
On
doing this. You
miscarriage.
can
Let's see how
see
it
now
looks.
our dress is ready. Let's see it on my mannequin, how it looks. Thanks for watching. God bless you. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up.